Thank you for coming here. जब आलोक और अन्वेषा का फ़ोन आया कि आप बताइए कि आपने क्या किया है दुनिया में आकर, और कुछ ऐसा बताइए जो अनएक्सप्लोर्ड है, तो सबसे पहले यही मेरे मन में आया कि मैंने किया क्या है। बिकॉज मेरी जो पूंजी है वो मेरे बच्चे हैं, मेरे स्टूडेंट्स हैं. शशांक इज वन सच एग्जाम्पल. देयर आर सो मेनी एग्जाम्पल्स विच आर देयर. उन्होंने अच्छा किया तो मैंने बोला कि हाँ, मेरा लगता है मैंने अच्छा काम किया होगा. तो मैं सोचने लगा कि मैं क्या बात करूं, क्योंकि मैंने तो कुछ किया नहीं. उन्होंने सब मेहनत उन्होंने की, मैं क्रेडिट कहाँ से ले सकता हूँ. फिर भी जब बोले कि भाई कुछ करना है, तो मैंने सोचा चलो ज़िंदगी के सफ़र में चलते हैं. कहाँ क्या क्या किस तरह से सीखा हमने. मैंने जो सीखा उनसे सीखा, कुछ खुद करके भी सीखा. तो जो मैं बताने वाला हूँ बेसिकली मैं खुद वो एक्सपीरियंस किया पर्सनली, एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट. we all know that it's a common fact that the success rate of entrepreneurs is very, very small, right? You're lucky to be, it's slightly better than CA result. CA के रिजल्ट से थोड़ा सा अच्छा है entrepreneur successful. It's almost similar to IIT or IIM admission rates. That's what the success rate of entrepreneurs are. And it's not just in this country, it's everywhere in the world. It's the same. Which means there is something which is very, very innate to what you're doing. So, जब भी हम कुछ शुरू करते हैं, कोई भी काम शुरू करते हैं, it need not be entrepreneurial, but the moment, for me, entrepreneurship is anything which is uncharted, is entrepreneurship. कुछ आप करना चाहते हैं, वो entrepreneurship है. कंपनी के अंदर रह के भी आप कुछ नया करना चाहते हैं. You may not be having your own enterprise, but within the enterprise also if you are doing something, and that's something new, which is new, you are entrepreneurial in nature. So when I looked at many of my examples, my own life, and then I found that I am not the only one who is into this scenario. There's so many people who have done wonderful jobs, but still they have not succeeded. Despite everything being 100% right, despite checking all the boxes as you call it, still things don't work out. So sometimes we call that as an X factor or a Y factor, whatever it is. If X is known, Y is the unknown, let it be a Y factor. We suddenly says कि हमने क्या गड़बड़ की? How did it happen that we had ticked all the boxes, we have everything got right, still we didn't succeed? This is what I call as a Bermuda Triangle syndrome. All of us are aware of Bermuda Triangle. All of us know it exists. We all know that what happens there. We all know that when we go there into the triangle, what happens to us. As on today also, it's a mystery. Why do ships and airplanes sink there? Nobody knows. Also, those people have luckily survived, even when they were into the Bermuda Triangle. Most of them come back with no knowledge at all. They didn't know what happened to them. They were just blanking out. So in business also there are situations where we don't know why it happened. We are completely blanked out. And when you go back and then say, अरे ये तो हम जानते थे, फिर भी ऐसे कैसे हो गया? Almost like that. अरे बर्मुडा ट्रायंगल के बारे में हम सबको मालूम है, हमारे मैप में दिखता है. When the ship's radar tells you are entering that region, still वहाँ जाते हैं. किसी के साथ होता है, किसी के साथ नहीं होता है. कुछ लोग क्रॉस कर जाते हैं, उनको कुछ भी नहीं होता है, लेकिन बाकी लोग जो रहते हैं क्यों हो गया पता भी नहीं चलता है. Let me just illustrate some of the life examples that I was part of it. So I was part of a launch of a multinational brand in India in the category of ketchups. It was a very well-known brand. It is still a very well-known brand internationally. So we wanted to bring that to India. हमने पूरा स्टडी किया, we did research, right? We met experts, we talked to the consumers, we talked to the channel members, we collected a lot of data, and what we said, let's run some simulations on this. And that's what happens when you have data with you. You simply start doing more things that you like to do. At that time, simulation software did not exist in India. So we went abroad, did that simulation, and came back with the result. The results were in same line as what we were expecting to be, which means that whatever our hypothesis was, it was turning out correct. So So we just launched the brand. Right? We put a lot of budget, lot of money behind it. It was a very large launch that we had. We picked up a metro where we would have launched. You know, MNC brand, already established company which already has its own brand. You enter the market with a lot of fanfare. We were so hopeful because all the results of market research were saying that this brand is going to garner a good success, market share in the market. We launched it. Channel was supporting us like anything. Ads were released. City was painted red. 3 months, nothing moved. Nothing moved in the market. The brand would not move in the market. We waited for 3 months and nothing happened. Nobody will come and pick up. You know, you check whether people are aware of it or not. So people were aware of it. They were aware of the brand. But it was not flying off the shelf like we'd expected. We said, let's wait for another 3 months. We wait for another 3 months with all sustained effort. The brand is not moving. It's just not moving. So we said, it's time to say that we have done something which somehow is not working out. So we withdrew the brand. We said, this is not working out. Despite all the levels of effort in terms of marketing, market research, consumer behavior, everything. And just think of it, I was already a professor there, head of that brand. So I hope I knew what marketing was all about. But I was also completely foxed. We just didn't know what hit me. And interestingly, about 5-7 years ago, this brand was relaunched in India, which was almost 15 to 20 years after I had done that experiment. And even today, that brand is not doing well. So that simply means that there is something there which we just fail to understand. Everything being right. So at that time when we went back to the drawing board, what did we find? We had a product which was differentiated. We could tick, okay, I'm better than this, I'm better than this, I'm tastier than this, right? I've got this ingredient which is fine, my brand is very, very nice, my colors are fine, the taste is fine, everything checked out. So we were differentiated. But when we dug deeper, we found that customers were not differentiating it. It was not differentiable by the customer. They said it's as good as anybody else, the other brands. Why should I buy? And the second thing that happened is, this product category has high penetration, and that's why we went into it, but had very low consumption, per capita consumption. And people are not price sensitive. They didn't mind paying better price for a better product in this category. When we go back, when we looked back, we found that we missed just one thing. We thought I had created a product which was differentiated, but we forgot to check that in the minds of customers, there was no point of differentiation. What we thought was an intended differentiation, we had just lost it. So relevance to the customer, we failed to check whether this product is relevant to the customer or not. So we said, fine, this is an experiment, didn't work. We said, let's just go ahead. So we withdrew the brand. But what was interesting to know that even after 20 years, that brand is not doing well in India. Which means there's something that we as consumers are creating a situation where anybody who will come will sink. And you won't even know why did you sink. So even today, I don't know why did we sink, frankly. But we sank. That was different. Let me take another example, which is even 2 years before that, 2-3 years before that. So you know when there is a puja, I'm talking of 1998, 99. Durga Puja is a big festival. And for that matter, all over the country. During that time, consumption goes up. People buy a lot of things. They're safe for buying during puja. So whether you have the household goods, whether you have the durables, whether you have the cars, or new furniture, apparels, everything, we just bought more. We are prepared to spend because we get a lot of money at that time in one slot because you will get bonuses or you will save for that particular time. So this time, this time I was working for a company which was selling cooking gas. And at that time, penetration of cooking gas in the household was only about 12%, which is most households did not have cooking gas at their homes. They were using kerosene stoves. So we said, when we looked at the market, we said during puja sales will go up, whether it is cars, whatever the product. So we also planned our sales accordingly, that this is how the market behaves. So we prepared communication. We stocked up all stores so that more demand will come. We had all our staff ready so that customers could be served better. And we were ready with it. We hit the puja days, the festival days. Everybody's sales is going up, and my sale is just going down. Just think of it. Cooking gas so essential to the household, right? Its sales is going down, but everything else sales is going up. All categories, the sales of all categories went up. It's just that my product was not moving. In fact, that period, the sales were lesser than the normal sales that would happen in the market. We just couldn't understand why it happened. We just couldn't understand why it happened. Because you're buying. We all knew that consumers have what you call as hierarchy of priorities. We all knew that. But for somebody, cooking gas should have been bought when you have money. And around that time, what we found out that whatever the cost of the cooking gas was, also the cost of the down payment that is required to buy a two-wheeler. Or you could buy a refrigerator at that price. So we are competitive from that perspective. 15 days, 20 days into the season, and nothing is moving. We're just sitting there. So we went and met the customer. Went and talked to the customer. So why did you not buy my product? And then what came to us, simply just we were completely flabbergasted because we knew it, but we didn't know it will play out this way. So when we went to meet the housewives and asked as to why is it that you are not buying my cooking gas, which is such essential. They were using kerosene stoves, and we all know that kerosene stoves is cumbersome, safety is a problem. Early morning you take so much time to start your gas or start your stove before you could actually start cooking and all that. About 15 minutes into the discussion, and then we found, when we talked to many of them, later we found the concept of sacrifice. How a housewife was sacrificing her own personal benefits for something else. I used to teach consumer sacrifice as a concept, right? But the first time that was face to face. She said, I don't mind cooking on stove for another year, but I would buy a two-wheeler for my husband. That is more important. I would get a sofa set in my room. That is more important to me. I'll get my house painted. Right? I would buy something for my children. I couldn't say anything about it. So it was social value that she wanted. It was value for the other member of the family that she wanted over others, over her own benefit. We couldn't fathom that. As you said, we sank without a trace. We didn't even know what hit us. So this is what I call as Bermuda Triangle. You are in triangle. You know it exists. We knew the concept of sacrifice. I am from the similar family. We know how my mother and my wife would have sacrificed a lot of things. We understood it. But we never knew how it would play in the marketplace. It will happen to me as that. Sacrifice versus other social values. these are two cases which I'm just trying to bring out as to how things which are right in front of you. And therefore, when I'm running a business, I know those things. But still, these things become the part of such situations that affect us. Let me go to the other way around, where again I'm saying things which we knew, didn't expect what happened to us, but let me take the other side of the happier side of what happened to us. So in this company, when I was, we were selling cooking gas, I got a call. I was the head of marketing, but I got a call from the customer's place from the delivery boy. You know, the delivery person would go to deliver cylinders, right? And he says, "Sir, madam bakshish de rahi, kya karu main?" And the company policy was, "Aap bakshish nahi le sakte. You can't take tips." That was the policy. You can't do that. So I said, "Mana kar do. This is the company policy." He said, "I have been saying that she is insisting कि आपको बख्शिश लेना ही पड़ेगा." मैंने said, "ठीक है, अगर कस्टमर इतना इंसिस्ट कर रही है तो आप ले लो." But I said, "What is that happened? इतना बख्शिश देने के लिए कोई इतना खुश क्यों है? कोई क्या हुआ कि बख्शिश देने के लिए तैयार हो गए सब लोग?" So हो गया, वापस आ गया, तो मैंने फिर पूछा कि हुआ क्या था, बताओ. Then he said कि हुआ ये कि that customer, that housewife, उनके घर में गृह प्रवेश था उस दिन और सबको तैयारी हो गई थी, गैस का कनेक्शन ही नहीं पहुंचा था. नया गैस का कनेक्शन चाहिए था उनको. They had booked somewhere else, but वो पहुंचा नहीं था उनको. Now we all know the importance कि जब गृह प्रवेश हो रहा है और किचन में आपका ठीक नहीं है तो क्या होगा. रसोई पूजा भी एक उसमें एक विधि होती है, शामिल होता है. So जब इस परिस्थिति में थी वो, तब मेरा डिलीवरी पर्सन वहां पहुंचा और उसने गैस लगा के दे दिया. I mean, I couldn't believe it when he said कि सर वो खुशी से रो पड़ी. बोली खुशी, सबके सामने खुशी से रो पड़ी कि आज आप मेरे भगवान हो. Almost like that. She said almost like that कि आप मेरे भगवान हो. तो हमने सोचा हमने किया क्या. हमने कुछ भी नहीं किया. हम तो सिर्फ एक गैस का सिलेंडर लेके घर पे पहुंचा दिया. हमने किया क्या. But then we realized कि we were not selling gas. We were getting blessings. वो ब्लेसिंग आज भी मेरे अंदर है. आज के दिन में मैं वो इंसिडेंस रहता है. I feel so obliged. And this is what again I'm calling the Bermuda Triangle, the positive side of it, is that you don't know. सब कुछ जानते हैं फिर भी आप नहीं जानते. So you succeed because, this incident stayed with us. That I need to get blessings of customers. And within a very short period, just playing on this, we were the #1 private player of the country. Just basing on that. Customers' blessings. Which is what we go back saying, a blessing कब देता है कोई? It's not about buying a product. It's not, anyway you're paying the price for the product. So then we realize that the connect that you have with the customer is of a different kind. In the earlier two examples, somehow we did not connect with the customer. In this example, for whatever reason, we were connected with the customers. Right? And I can go on giving you 50 such examples where this customer connect that happened to me. That is something that will stay with me for a whole life. All my businesses that I built, all the advisory work that I do, my first question is always there. Do you have a customer connect? What is the customer connect that you have? If you do not have a customer connect, whatever you do, you're not going to succeed. Products, prices, your communication, right? Advertising, all these are temporary. Tangible is temporary. The only thing that sustains you to go through the Bermuda Triangle is the connect that you have with the customer. And that connect is something that you have which is always threatened, either by competition or many times we take that connect for granted. So this is what has been my life's learning right through. Now, whether I teach or whether I practice, or whether I advise, or whether I train. Almost everywhere, this is my core of everything that I do. The connect that I build with the other side. That when you say customer, I'm taking a much wider view of the customer. So it's not just somebody who's buying a product. There is also a concept of internal customer. Okay. The stakeholder. Now people are called stakeholders. Can I create a connect with my stakeholders, which is just untenable? And that is the most competitive weapon that one can always build. Because that connect is not based on monetary factors. It's based on psychological, emotional factor. And that is the most difficult thing to copy in the marketplace. Anybody can copy your product, anybody can copy the price, anybody can copy your placements and everything. What they cannot copy is the connect that I create with my customers and the stakeholders. So even the channel members are my customers. And there are hundreds of examples saying that this connect is what has actually not just built a brand, but also in the difficult times, it is this connect which has actually helped you go across the Bhavamraj channel. This has been my life's learning. That is what I'm going to talk everywhere now. I've been talking about this everywhere, and what I call as the Bermuda Triangle. Now this Bermuda Triangle is not necessarily in the front end. Marketing, I talked about example which are the front end. Such Bermuda Triangle happens in across the back end of the business also, across the value chain. When we know this Bermuda Triangle, we know what is to be done. This basically is a triangle which is a connect between you, your customers and your competition. And how does it play? This triangle is what I create, and sometimes I sink into it because some other connect didn't happen. This is a connect which gives what you call as the USP, or the positioning of the brand or the product. And USP for me is not unique selling proposition. USP for me is uniqueness, sustainability and profitability. Uniqueness comes because you are different and remain different all over, as long as you can be. Sustainability comes when I am relevant to the customer, not because of money. Money-based sustainability is not tenable. And anything that I do, I must be profitable. And the definition of profit is not always monetary. The ROI which I calculate of business is both monetary as well as non-monetary. So I might not have made money today, but if I have been able to create a good connect, that's my asset I've created, which is an ROI for me. So whenever we are looking at any business, whether it's a startup or a large corporation, this works for everybody. It is not that it's only for the startups that I'm talking about. Large corporations have sunk. Large ships have sunk, including Titanic sank. Just because that triangle that you have created, we are passing through that and you are not able to sustain that connect. So let's build that connect across monetary as well as non-monetary. And what I call as values. These connect based on values, and 90% of the time these are not human values. They are basically human values on which the connects are made. So this Bermuda Triangle is actually a triangle of values that I have. What I've learned is, let's play the game of values, not product or price. Play the game of values, and there's no way that I would ever lose. Thank you very much.